This is GI Editor-in-Chief Lindsay Hicks. I am in Columbia, South Carolina, my hometown, and this is the first in a feature on arcades in Columbia. We're going to do a couple of videos to show you different places where there were arcades in town that were pretty popular that people still remember about going to. I went to a lot of these arcades growing up in Columbia because I was born and raised here, so I spent a lot of time traveling around and doing things. So our first stop here is at Decker Boulevard. It's on 2500 Decker Boulevard, as you can see on the sign behind me. This used to be the home of the Land of Oz, which was a giant arcade. This was Decker Mall, and many years ago, the Land of Oz was like the happening place in town. It's where you went if you were going to go to the arcade. My older brother, used to bring me here, and my mom would go shopping in here. It's a couple of places, and we would go in the arcade all the time. And it's my first memory of coming in here and being held up to the machine because I wasn't quite tall enough to reach up and handle controls. So I have very fond memories of this place, but it's pretty deserted now. It used to be a Target here, which before that was Gold Circle, which before that was Richway. There used to also be, the DMV was housed in here for a while too, in Columbia. Not much else. I can't remember too much else what was in there, but yeah, you could come in here and shop in the 80s, and there was a lot of stuff in here. And the arcade, there were places to eat too, and the arcade was a big attraction. So I thought that I would make this apropos my first stop. I used to live out in this area of Columbia, so I recognize the area pretty well. I used to also go to school here. This is where I went to middle school and where I went to high school. So I have fond memories of walking through this parking lot as a young preteen and teenager, going down to the mall, which will probably be our next stop. So I will see you guys in a minute. I'm going down to the mall where there used to be my home arcade, what I considered my home arcade of Aladdin's Castle. So we'll see you in a minute. Hi, and welcome back. We're here at Columbia Mall in Columbia, South Carolina, and this is the home of the erstwhile Columbia Mall. It used to be called Columbia Mall, but now it's called Columbia Place. And here in Columbia Place, it used to be an Aladdin's Castle arcade. It was an arcade here for many years, until they closed it in 1995. They closed it December 31st, 1995. I was here for the last day, and I played a lot of Mortal Kombat here. This is actually where I learned to play Mortal Kombat, if you can see in our tournament videos. I learned to play MK2, MK3, probably a little bit of Killer Instinct, some Street Fighter. Mostly they didn't hold a lot of tournaments, and they did get Soul Calibur, I think, once upon a time. But no Tekken. I don't remember Tekken being here. I'm going to try to see if I can pan and show you guys the place where it used to be. My lighting is also failing on me, so hold on just a second and I'm going to turn this around. Okay, the area where the Subway, Buffalo's, and Malio's is where the arcade used to be. And I don't know if you guys can see that, so let me step around. It became a food court in 95, late 95, 96, or actually probably early 96. So you guys can see me again. Yeah, in 96 is when the food court opened, and I have to date only been in this food court once. So, because I don't like going in here. Once they closed the arcade, there was no reason for me to come in here again. This used to be a little narrow corridor, and the food places where the arcade was, that's where the arcade was, and then there was nothing next to it. And then there was a shoe store where you could get your shoes fixed and zippers fixed on the other side where the China Max is, over there, way back there area. But This sign also, the directory sign, was not here. They added that later, way later. But yeah, it's long been gone. That's been about 20 years now, almost, since they closed the arcade here. But yeah, I spent a lot of time in here. A lot of time. Okay, we're going to our next stop, and we'll get more video then. So we'll see you guys later. Welcome to the fourth or fifth part of our series for Gaming Insurrection's tour of Columbia arcades. I am Editor-in-Chief Lindsay Hicks. I am out at Spring Valley Antique Mall on Two Notch Road in Columbia. This is another interesting spot in Columbia that used to be an arcade. I only knew about it because my brother told me about it. He had come down here a couple of times with my mom, and it used to be a very big arcade, but it was only open for a while after he found it in the 70s. It was the late 70s. We used to live out in this area of town, and so my brother was always looking for different places, and my mom also would look because she played arcade games from time to time. So she was like, yeah, there used to be an arcade down Two Notch Road. And I was like, oh, really? And so I talked to my brother the other day, and I asked him what the name of it was, and he said it was called Galaxy World. And it was a pretty decent sized arcade. And as you can see, this building behind me, that's what the building looks like. That's what it was. It was housed in that building. Now, I'm not sure how big the building is, but I knew that it used to be an arcade, and I remember him telling me that many years ago, and my mom told me that too. So I knew that it was the antique store. So that's an interesting place to have an arcade, I guess. So I just wanted to stop by this place because this is an interesting spot for an arcade to have been housed in here, and now it's an antique store. So we're going to go on to our next stop somewhere. I don't know. We're going to find it, but that's the whole point of this tour, is to find arcades in Columbia where they used to be. So keep an eye out. We'll have more in this feature coming shortly. Thanks for watching. Hi, and welcome back. This is Lindsay Hicks, Editor-in-Chief of Gaming Insurrection. I am in Dutch Square Center, where the Barrel of Fun used to be many years ago. The Barrel of Fun closed some years ago, and there was a very distinctive barrel-shaped entryway that used to be in the mall. And I'm pretty sure it was either where I'm standing or across the way. Let me see if I can turn that way, and maybe you can see this. But you can see the building over there. It's a wooden paneled building over there, and I'm pretty certain that was probably it. But it's no longer there anymore. The mall, it was one of the few places in Columbia where the arcade was like a centerpiece type thing, and it's gone. It's pretty much been gone for about 10 years or so, at least 10 years. I might even say closer to 15 years. It's been since they closed the Barrel of Fun. The Barrel of Fun used to have a lot of games in it, and it was a giant barrel. So that's where it got its name from. But yeah, there's nothing in this mall now. And I had to struggle to find the probable location for it. I had to call my mom and ask, and she said, yeah, it's near the Belks. As you can see, there's a Belk down there. She said it was near the Belk, and it was the last store before the Belk on the right-hand side. Well, I'm on the right-hand side, and this is the last store, so I figured this is where it was. But yeah, Barrel of Fun was a pretty good place to go and hang out and play video games. I came over here a couple of times and played Mortal Kombat 3 when it was in the arcade, so that had to have been 95 because it had just come out. So I remember Mortal Kombat 3 coming out April 1st, 1995 or so. So that's been at least 15 years. So we're going to get out of here, and we're going to go to another arcade, and hopefully you guys will be able to see some of the other landmarks in Columbia. So thanks for watching, and we'll get back to you shortly. GI readers and watchers. This is Editor-in-Chief Lindsay Hicks. I'm out at Frankie's Fun Park in Columbia, and this used to be a really, really good arcade. It used to have a lot of fighting games in it, a lot of music games, rhythm games like DDR and Pump It Up, but now it's basically a shell of its former self, and there's a lot of redemption games, a lot of no-name type things in there, except for the Guitar Hero machine that I stumbled on in the back. Other than that, it's pretty terrible. I would not recommend coming out to Frankie's because, like I said, it's a shell of its former self. Back in the day, they used to have a lot of arcade games. We're talking stuff like Capcom versus SNK, Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Street Fighter Alpha 3, Tekken Tag, Tekken 4. They eventually did get a Tekken 5. It was a good training ground if you wanted to come out and learn how to play fighting games, which was my main thing. Even the laser tag has practically just gone to hell in a handbasket. It's not even what it used to be for the laser tag. It's pretty terrible out here. It's as best as I can say about it. But yes, Frankie's used to be awesome, and now it's no longer. So I was gonna do a video on the inside, but it's kind of noisy in there, so it's better to do it out here. But as you can see the sign in the background. That's about all that stayed the same about Frankie's in 10 years. We used to come out here frequently and play fighting games. This used to be a regular stop on Saturday nights for us, Friday and Saturday nights for GI members. So yeah, it's pretty much a shame what's happened to it, but that's what happens when time passes. So we're gonna go to our next stop, and we'll continue our video there. See you guys later. Welcome. This is Editor-in-Chief Lindsay Hicks. I'm at Columbiana Centre in Columbia. You probably can't hear me very well. I'm kind of inside the mall. This is the actual still real mall. I'm at the site of where Time Out Arcade used to be. We used to come out here all the time and play fighting games. And we used to play a lot of rhythm games out here too, but definitely fighting games. The main thing about this is that we used to hold tournaments here for fighting games, and so if you could come out here and get a decent game going, and we met a lot of our friends who we're still friends with out here playing. So now this is going to be the site of a Nestle Toll House, and next door used to be a GameStop that is now a Lids hat store. That's interesting. Also, I've noted several things have moved up in the mall and switched spots in the mall. The Hot Topic that's across from here used to be way back in the back. And I spent a lot of time in this mall. That's how I know that that's moved. But there isn't much in here now in the way of video games. There's no arcade in here. Time Out closed in 2003, 2004, I think. We held a couple of tournaments there in 2001 for Marvel vs. Capcom 2. As a matter of fact, my very first tournament for Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was held here at the Time Out. And I remember having to drive and try to get here super quick when I got off from work on 26, which was next to impossible. It was next to impossible. So we're going to make this really short because there isn't anything in here. The food court's bustling. And the rest of the mall has a lot of stuff in it still, but it's not, there's no arcade or GameStop in here anymore, so there's really no point coming in here unless you like to shop. So we're going to go on to our next stop, and we'll see you guys later. Hi, and welcome back. This is the, I guess the 5th or 6th part of our arcade series that we're looking at the ghosts of arcades past in Columbia. I am Editor-in-Chief Lindsay Hicks, and I am out at Richland Mall. It used to be known as Richland Fashion Mall, and now it's like Shops at Town Center or some crap. But where I'm standing used to be an arcade that closed in about 97 or so. I discovered it in 96. and came out here and played Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 for the first time. I don't even remember the name of this arcade, but it was a very small arcade, but they had some pretty decent stuff in there. They had some of the Versus series, early Versus series, and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. So this is a very quick look, and you can see this is in what used to be called Richland Fashion Mall, so bear with me. Also, this is our editor at large is kind of in our shot, so I'm in a pan so you can see.
Hey, mate.
That's part of the mall, and then back down that way is a little bit more of the mall. Yeah, it's really dead in here. There's nothing in this mall anymore. It used to be a thriving mall. Now it's basically a shell with like Belk, Verizon, and Barnes and Noble. And the TGI Fridays that was in here for a very long time, we're talking like decades, like 20 years, recently closed. So there's pretty much nothing in this mall now. So I just thought I would show what this is. This is some kind of kids thing back behind me now with the gate down. So I don't even know what it is. It's something for District 1, Richland District 1, which is like the school district here, one of the school districts. So, all right, we're going to our last stop. So we'll see you guys in a little bit. Hello, I'm back again. This is Editor-in-Chief Lindsay Hicks. I am out at what used to be the site of the old Putt-Putt in Columbia. This Putt-Putt had DDR, and we came out here to play DDR a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. We came out and played 4th Mix Plus, which became a 7th Mix, and we used to hold tournaments out here. The Putt-Putt is now gone. It became a cosmetology school, and then it's now a church, because that is Harvest Northeast Church. Yes, Harvest Northeast Church. So I thought it was fairly interesting that this became a church. We went past it at first, and then I was like, oh wait, that's probably the building over there, because I knew they had torn down the original building and rebuilt it. Originally, this Putt-Putt was going to be Dave & Buster's, but Dave & Buster's decided not to bring their franchise to Columbia, and so Putt-Putt took it in instead. And the Putt-Putt was open for a couple of years, probably about 5 years, and then it closed randomly. I don't even know why it closed, but it closed. And then the cosmetology school came, and then the church you see now. So, yeah, that's an interesting place. So I think this is our last one for our series. So I hope you've had fun looking at our various old arcades. These are all the ones that I know of in Columbia, and there aren't any anymore except for Frankie's Fun Park, and you've seen the state of disrepair that Frankie's is in. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we hope you've enjoyed our series, and check back with us for more videos at gaminginsurrection.com. Thanks.